There was a scholar of the law who stood up to test Jesus and said, "Teacher, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" Jesus said to him, "What is written in the law? How do you read it?" He said in reply, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your being, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." He replied to him, "You have answered correctly. Do this, and you will live." But because he wished to justify himself, he said to Jesus, "But who is my neighbor?" Jesus replied, "A man fell victim to robbers as he went down from Jerusalem to Jericho. They stripped and beat him and went off, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down that road, but when he saw him, he passed by on the opposite side. Likewise, a Levite came to the place, and when he saw him, he passed by on the opposite side. But a Samaritan traveler who came upon him was moved with compassion at the sight. He approached the victim, poured oil and wine over his wounds, and bandaged them. Then he lifted him up on his own animal, took him to an inn, and cared for him. The next day he took out 2 silver coins and gave them to the innkeeper with the instruction, 'Take care of him. If you spend more than what I have given you, I shall repay you on my way back.' Which of these 3, in your opinion, was neighbor to the robber's victim?" He answered, "The one who treated him with mercy." Jesus said to him, "Go and do likewise." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
So, of course, you have in today's Gospel reading a passage that we are familiar with about this teacher of the law who asked Jesus what he must do to inherit eternal life. But then he tries to push it a little further, saying, "Who is my neighbor?" And then Jesus answers by giving this parable of this person who was, beaten and half dead. But the person who cared for him was not the priest or the Levite, but the Samaritan. And again, Jesus giving this example to a teacher of the law in the context where the Samaritans were really people who were looked down upon. They were despised. They were the ones who were considered heretics. And so Jesus is posing this situation where this person, who is actually the one despised and people don't like this group of people, they are the ones who were able to give an example of what it means to be a neighbor. I think the gospel reading kind of again reminds us of the need for us to care for one another, but particularly people who we might not agree with. It becomes more challenging. It's easy to care for family members and relatives and friends, but to be concerned and to care about people who we don't consider to be in our circle, people who we perhaps may not agree with. And so that the gospel reading actually challenges us to be neighbor to even people who are not part of our family, people who are outside, and people who we sometimes despise and do not like.